So the Chase Trifecta of credit cards is probably the most popular 3-card setup you can get right now, even though as someone who's had the setup for almost 5 years, I'd say it's actually pretty far from perfect. That's because the fact is the Chase Trifecta has a few noticeable issues and flaws where it just falls short of the competition. So what I want to do here with this video is just sort of explain how it's both a good and a bad setup at the same time, talk about what's actually likable with the Chase Trifecta that I think makes it so popular, and then I also want to go over why I'm still a fan of it, even with all of its issues and flaws, starting with the first two things here that I love about these Chase credit cards, which are the low annual fees and the high sign-up bonuses. So the 3 credit cards that traditionally make up the Chase Trifecta are the no annual fee Freedom Unlimited that earns 1.5x back on everything, the no annual fee Freedom Flex that earns 5x back on rotating quarterly categories, and then either the $95 per year Sapphire Preferred or the $550 per year Sapphire Reserve, because technically you're only allowed to have one of those Sapphire cards at a time. For some people who want slightly more premium travel benefits, including a TSA PreCheck or global entry credit, as well as access to Priority Pass lounges and Chase Sapphire lounges, the Sapphire Reserve might make more sense here. But honestly, for most people, I'd say the cheaper Sapphire Preferred is probably going to be the better pick with its lower upfront cost. There's also a $50 hotel credit on the CSP that you get every single year when you book a hotel stay through Chase Travel, and so that credit sort of makes the combined effective annual fee here with this version of the Chase Trifecta more like $45 per year, and that is going to be pretty nice because again, those other 2 Freedom cards have no annual fee. Or if you go with the Sapphire Reserve, otherwise known as the CSR, then the $550 annual fee over on that card is going to be partially offset as well by a $300 travel credit that's super easy to use. So really the combined effective annual fee over on that version of the Chase Trifecta is more like $250 per year. But let's just assume you go with the Sapphire Preferred because again, it is going to be cheaper, and so I think more people gravitate towards that. So even though you do have to pay $95 upfront every year, that still is going to be way easier to digest compared to the $395 annual cost of the Capital One Duo, or even the massive $1,020 annual cost of having the 2 most popular Amex cards with the gold and the platinum. Now, on top of being more affordable upfront than the competition, the sign-up bonuses on each one of these Chase Trifecta credit cards are really where things start to get valuable. And so for this video, I figured I would just go ahead and walk through the bonuses that my wife Jackie and I have been able to realistically earn together across these credit cards over the past few years because the welcome offers are always changing. For the Sapphire Preferred, I got 60,000 points and Jackie got a limited time offer of 80,000 points, which was great. And then for the Freedom Unlimited, I got an offer of $200 cash back, which was really earned as 20,000 points. And that's because even though Chase markets both this card as well as the Freedom Flex as earning cash back, you're actually going to be earning more valuable Chase points. Those points can later be turned into cash back, or instead you can go ahead and use those points for travel by combining them with one of those 2 Sapphire cards, which is sort of the whole idea here behind having the Chase Trifecta. And by doing that, we're basically going to be amplifying our ability to earn Chase points across each one of these cards, and then we're also going to be amplifying our ability to redeem those points for more value towards travel. Now, Jackie was able to get a special limited time offer on her Freedom Unlimited for 20,000 points plus 5% or really 5x back on groceries and gas for the first year. And then we also both took advantage of similar offers over on the Freedom Flex for 20,000 points plus 5x back on just groceries for another year. But obviously we did spread out when we got these cards so that we weren't really overlapping those bonus multipliers. That means that in total, without even counting those 5x multipliers, I was able to earn 100,000 points with sign-up bonuses alone for the Chase Trifecta, and then Jackie was able to earn 120,000 points. Now, earlier this year, I was also able to actually get the Sapphire Reserve for an elevated offer of another 75,000 points. But like I said, you can't have 2 Sapphire cards at the same time, so that is going to bring me to the next 2 things that I really like about the Chase Trifecta, and that would be the flexibility around good downgrade options that I was able to take advantage of, and the ability to potentially get multiple sign-up bonuses by understanding these downgrade options. So for this, if you go over to Chase's website for the Sapphire Preferred, for example, and then you click on the offer details link, what you're going to see is some language that I'll show up on the screen right now, which explains what we call the Chase 48-month rule. What this rule basically says is that if you currently hold any Sapphire card right now, or if you've received a new Sapphire card bonus within the last 48 months, then you are not going to be eligible at that time for another Sapphire offer. But because I received my last Sapphire bonus on my CSP back in January of 2020, I knew that from February of 2024 onward that if I got rid of my Sapphire Preferred, then I would be able to meet both of those requirements for the 48-month rule and then go for another Sapphire bonus. Now, I didn't want to cancel my Sapphire Preferred because it was an account with 4 years of good credit history over on my credit report. So instead of canceling it, I just went ahead and called up Chase and asked if I could product change or basically downgrade that card down to a no annual fee Freedom, Freedom Flex, or Freedom Unlimited. They easily said, yeah, we can do that, no problem. And so then I just downgraded that card, waited maybe a week or two, and then I went ahead and applied and actually got approved for the Sapphire Reserve to get my second Sapphire bonus. And I decided to go with the Reserve card because I just wanted access to those Chase lounges, which I really love visiting whenever I'm traveling. Now, hopefully that all makes sense. And keep in mind here that Chase could always change this stuff in the future. And this is all public information, so we're not even really bending any rules or anything like that. But yeah, the fact that I was able to easily downgrade my old Sapphire card in order to get a new Sapphire card with a new Sapphire bonus was awesome. And it was honestly a really simple process, with the only difficult thing being that I had to wait over 48 months to do that. Other issuers like American Express, for example, do not have the same no annual fee downgrade paths like this on their top cards. And Amex even has once per lifetime language on a lot of their offers, which is going to limit customers to getting only one sign-up bonus on certain cards in their lifetime instead of getting multiple bonuses like Chase allows. Honestly, even if you don't plan on getting multiple sign-up bonuses on the Sapphire cards like I did, the fact that you can still go ahead and essentially just test drive the Chase Trifecta for as little as $95 per year and then take advantage of those great sign-up bonuses and other features. And then if at some point in the future you really don't feel like it's worth the price anymore, you could pretty much just downgrade out of that annual fee without any real consequences with closing any accounts. I just think that's a really nice option to have in the back of your mind. Now, another two things I like with the Chase Trifecta cards are the ability to earn referral bonuses and the ability to actually combine your Chase points within the same household, which is going to be an awesome feature if you're running a two-player setup like me and Jackie. So earlier I mentioned that I was able to earn at least 100,000 points from the offers on my original Chase Trifecta, and then Jackie was able to earn at least 120,000 points. And actually I can go ahead and add in another 75,000 for my new Sapphire Reserve. So really we've earned 295,000 points combined. But what that does not factor in are the referral bonuses that Jackie and I got by referring each other as well. So a few years ago, I was able to receive 15,000 points for referring Jackie to the Sapphire Preferred, 10,000 points by referring her to the Freedom Unlimited, and then another 10,000 points with a Freedom Flex referral. And then Jackie was also able to earn 10,000 points as well when she referred me to the Sapphire Reserve earlier this year through her Sapphire link. That's an extra 45,000 points between the two of us, and these referral bonuses are always changing, so I think now it's only 5,000 points per Freedom card referral and then 10,000 points for a Sapphire referral. But the point here is that between all these base sign-up bonuses and the referrals that we did to each other from within our two-player strategy, we earned 340,000 Chase points, which is just crazy to think about. And again, that does not even include the points we earned from spending on these cards or even what I've earned from my Chase business cards. 340,000 Chase points are worth at least $4,250 towards travel with the Sapphire Preferred, or at least $5,100 with the Sapphire Reserve. And that's going to be thanks to the 25% or the 50% points boost features over on those cards when you book travel through Chase. Or 340,000 points can be worth $6,800 or more with the way we redeem our points by transferring them, which we'll talk about next. Also, because Chase allows you to call in and then link your Ultimate Rewards accounts with another person in the same household, that's going to be sort of a secret trick here for two-player setups where you can both just earn points separately and then combine and pool your points to redeem together. That obviously helps out a lot for booking travel that both you and your player 2 want to experience. And if you're transferring your points, then the name under your Sapphire card and the program account that you're going to be transferring to have to actually match as well, so you want to keep that in mind. So for example, because I have globalist status with Hyatt, which gets us upgrades and free breakfast, it's going to be much better for us to pool our points together under my Sapphire card. That way we can then transfer over to my Hyatt account for a much better hotel experience. Pooling points together is not always going to be possible with other points currencies and other programs out there. So yeah, referring your player to and then linking and moving around your Chase points is definitely a valuable feature that you should know about, but that is going to lead me to the next two things that I think are the most valuable here with the Chase Trifecta, and that would be the redemption options of either booking travel with Chase and also transferring points. So like I just mentioned earlier, the Sapphire Preferred has a 25% points boost feature, while the Sapphire Reserve has a 50% boost. And what that basically means for anyone that's new to this stuff is that instead of getting 1 cent per point in redemption value for something like cash back, where 100,000 Chase points is going to be worth $1,000, instead you'd get 1.25 or 1.5 cents per point for $1,250 or $1,500 in value when redeeming for things like flights and hotel stays inside the Chase travel portal. Most other credit cards with travel portals only offer 1 cent per point or less with no boost feature, so that's definitely an advantage that Chase has right now because it's just easier for a lot of beginners to really wrap their head around redeeming points for more value towards travel inside that portal. And that's actually how I did my first Chase points redemption, so it's really not a bad option when you're just getting started with points and miles. However, transferring points is usually where you're going to find the much better deals once once you get the hang of how all that works. And so with both the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve, they have the exact same transfer partners where you can move points at a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, sometimes it's kind of hard to remember exactly where you're able to transfer to, so if you want, then you can go ahead and download a full list of these transfer partners here with a cheat sheet that I made that I'll link to down below. And using that link is actually going to sign you up as well for my free newsletter called Braun's Wallet. With that newsletter, I'm able to give you guys an updated record of all the current transfer bonuses going on with the major points and miles currencies at that moment, so that way you can get even better deals. Plus, in each weekly email every Tuesday, I'm also going to have a step-by-step example of redeeming credit card points that you could just copy and use for yourself if you're trying to book some free travel. So yeah, definitely go ahead and check that out and download that transfer partner cheat sheet in the description, and also check out that newsletter. Now, with transferring points from your Chase Trifecta, my target goal is to get at least 2 cents per point or more in value, where, for example, 100,000 points would be worth around $2,000 or more. And again, it can be tricky to do this at times because it does take a little bit of time and a little bit of practice to learn how to do this very effectively. But luckily, Chase has what I think is the easiest transfer partner of all for consistently good value, and that is World of Hyatt. So Hyatt uses a fixed award chart where different hotels inside their portfolio fall under categories from 1 to 8, and then a few other special categories for certain resorts. But these categories fix each hotel to certain point amounts per night, regardless of what the cash price is. To give you an example, a Category 5 Hyatt hotel has a standard rate of 20,000 points per night, and one of my favorite Category 5 properties is going to be the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve Puerto Rico, where you can see here that one night in April cost $838 in cash, or by using a Sapphire card, you could transfer 20,000 Chase points into 20,000 Hyatt points to book that instead. Normally, 20,000 Chase points is going to have a $200 cash value when you convert that into cash back instead, again at a rate of 1 cent per point, but by doing this transfer to get $838 in value at this Hyatt property, you'd be getting a crazy good 4.19 cents per point on this redemption, or in other words, over 4 times the value of your points. Now, cash rates on hotels like that are obviously going to vary depending on the time of the year and on consumer demand, but I think for most people, even including beginners with points and miles, they can understand why that's going to be a great deal by transferring points like that. And award availability from Hyatt is pretty consistently available at around 2 cents per point or higher. So again, very friendly for people who are new to this stuff. And it's honestly one of my favorite ways to use my Chase points that keeps me in the whole Chase ecosystem. Now, okay, so those are the main reasons why I actually like the Chase Trifecta and why I think it's still so popular. But like I said, it's very far from perfect with a lot of issues and flaws, including my opinion here that Chase just does not really have the best points multipliers compared to other credit cards out there on the market. So one thing that I never really understood is why all the cards within the Chase Trifecta earn 3x on dining, because obviously 3x on dining is good, but we definitely do not need it on every card in the setup because that's a lot of unnecessary overlap. The Freedom Flex and the Freedom Unlimited also both earn 3x at drugstores, which is another overlap and also sort of a category that's not even that important to begin with. And both those cards plus the Sapphire Preferred earn 5x back on Chase Travel, which again is just more overlapping multipliers. Personally, I think that for myself and for other credit card optimizers out there, we like to have cards that specialize in doing maybe 1 or 2 things really well because we're okay with having several different cards for different purposes. So for me, I'd rather see the Sapphire Preferred and Sapphire Reserve be 3x or even 4x dining cards. That way the Freedom Flex could just focus on earning 5x back in rotating categories, or I might even actually prefer the Freedom Flex becomes like the City Custom Cash, where you can just earn 5x back on your highest spend category every month, because I think people have actually really come to like that as a feature over on the Custom Cash. I also think the Freedom Unlimited as a catch-all card should really be earning 2x back on everything instead of the 1.5x back it earns now. So again, I'd be fine with this card just losing the 3x categories for dining and drugstores as long as it was bumped up to be competitive with the 2x earned on so many other catch-all cards on the market, like the Citi Double Cash, the Wells Fargo Active Cash, and the Capital One Venture and Venture X, to name a few. Then there's the big elephant in the room that for some reason, the Chase Trifecta does not have normal grocery stores as a dedicated spending multiplier when that's probably the one single area of spending that people actually want to earn points on. So we've got 3x back for online groceries only with the Sapphire Preferred, and then usually for 1 quarter out of the year, we get groceries as a 5x category over on the Freedom Flex. But to me, there's really no reason why either the Sapphire Preferred or the Reserve don't offer at least 3x back on all groceries yet. Also, speaking of the CSP with the Sapphire Preferred, there is another CSP out there with the Citi Strata Premier that pretty much blows the Preferred out of the water with the way that it earns points on every everyday spending categories because it earns 3x back on flights, hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, and EV charging. I think Chase could just do a lot better than what it currently offers for multipliers over on the Sapphire Preferred, because honestly, the only real reason I had this card for so long was for the transfer partner access. So yeah, if they could add at least 3x back on all groceries, that would be great, but then adding 3x for at least one other category would be pretty outstanding. Another negative is that Chase has just been overall pretty quiet lately with changes to these credit cards and pretty much not even that innovative compared to the competition. So we've seen Built doing a lot of cool things lately. Capital One introduced the Venture X obviously a few years ago. Citi brought out the Custom Cash and then recently rebranded the Citi Strata Premier. And then of course, American Express is always adding new credits to the Gold and Platinum cards, but at least they're trying out new things to keep it exciting. Even Wells Fargo is offering some pretty nice new products, and they also introduced the ability to transfer points to a few select partners, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the future. But for Chase, they've really just been sitting back for the most part, so I hope at least they're planning some new stuff or at least a few updates in the coming months. Now, if they do ever update their current line of credit cards within the Chase Trifecta, the one warning that I would have for them is do not part ways with Hyatt as a transfer partner. And I think a lot of you guys out there probably share that same thought as well, with Chase having Hyatt as a transfer partner being what's really keeping them in the whole credit card game because of some of these other areas where they're falling short. And honestly, I don't ever think they're going to get rid of Hyatt anytime soon, but I know that personally, I would probably use their cards a lot less often if they ever made that change, unless they somehow stepped up the points multipliers in other areas. I think I also can't make a video about the Chase Trifecta without mentioning the infamous Chase 524 rule that says if you've opened 5 or more personal credit cards across all issuers within the past 24 months, you will automatically be denied for any new Chase credit cards. Honestly, to me, it's this rule here combined with the fact that the Chase Trifecta is pretty low cost and also very beginner friendly with its redemption options that makes this setup still a must-have for anyone who's early on in the credit card game. And I don't think they really have to change this rule or even get rid of it, even though it would be nice if they were at least a little bit more flexible with it at times. But we still have to go ahead and call it out here because your 524 count is something that almost every seasoned credit card veteran is gonna keep track of. So to sum it up, no credit card setup is perfect, but I do think the Chase Trifecta still holds enough value, it's low risk, and it's also low cost that it's gonna be worth it for anyone to try out. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with that? Or how would you fix the setup if you could change anything? Also, if you're looking to learn more about how exactly to redeem your Chase points to get max value like we talked about throughout this video, then make sure to go ahead and check out this video over here on the screen next. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.